Hi, everybody. Welcome to What the Tech. I'm Rolando, your host. And over here, magically distant and
Dave,
safe and secure is
safe and
Dave.
secure. Dave
Over,
Kelly.
actually, in a secure location, right? You're in a secure location?
Yes, no one is breaching the doors of this fortress.
Oh,
How are
and
you,
hey,
Rolando?
I'm
Happy
doing fine. How
Friday.
are you? How are you?
I'm doing awesome. Thank you very much for asking.
Hey, let me ask you something. You know, around the corner is Super Bowl weekend, but what
Yep.
is more important is Valentine's weekend. You're all set up for that. Your
I'm
special loved one
all
is.
set up for that. You know, I proposed on Valentine's Day to all the single fellas out there. Don't do that, or else Valentine's Day becomes more important than many other things.
Oh my God, that's some added pressure, man. Why'd you do
For sure.
that? You didn't
It
know any
seemed like a
better,
great idea at the time.
and you
It
will
still
never
is.
forget the day. That's the one
I will
cool part
never
about it.
forget the day. Never forget the day. Never forget the day.
Well, thank you for joining us today. We've got a good one for you today on What the Tech. We're going to look at some platforms and we're going to look at some devices. Because, Dave, what's the point of getting all set up with Teams and Zoom? And a lot of companies are all set with all those platforms. And the last thing that you haven't taken care of is the device you're going to use. Now, we're using studio mics and all this
Sure.
cool stuff,
Yep.
but most people aren't doing that. So, if you don't have the devices to go along with all that cool stuff, you're just not going to sound very good.
I know. You know, it's so funny. It is literally the last part of that entire solution. You know, some people might say it's the last 3 feet, but it really is. You know, it's that device that's connected through the UC service, that voice service, and it's important that you get the right one. And it's important that you watch today's episode because we're going to show you how to make that device even better.
That's right. That's right. Well, let's get going, man. Let's
All right.
let's
All
get
right.
this thing going. So, Ori, let's go right to the trivia. Let's not waste any time. Okay. I'm gonna let Dave handle this one. Go ahead, Dave.
So, I mean, everyone can read the question right there. So, what does Plantronics, now Poly, and Rolex have in common? And find out later at the end of the show. I think you'll be very surprised what these two brands or products have in common. It's pretty interesting, for sure.
I'm looking forward to seeing what that's all about. Thanks, Dave. All
Yep.
right. So, Dave was talking about devices making a difference when you're using a platform. And so, what we want to first start off is one of the big platforms that I think they're over 100 million users right now using Teams. And so, we thought we also have a little bit of fun. Let them, for those folks, because not everybody's using Teams. So, for those folks that don't know what Teams is, we took a snippet from an ad they have. They'll introduce themselves and then we'll have some discussions on the other side of that video. Ori, we're ready for that? Go.
It's about time you know I'm good and ready. Let the good vibes roll, come on and blow my mind. You ain't gotta wait for it, go ahead, drop the confetti. 3, 2, 1, do the fun, gonna make it mine. Gonna do what it do, what it do.
Hey, Dave, was that Eddie Murphy in that ad?
I didn't see Eddie Murphy in that, but you know what? I'm glad we didn't switch over to us too early because I was jamming out in my seat. I'll tell you, man, Microsoft knows how to make something pretty fun.
You know what? I'm sure they paid quite a bit to whatever ad agency they were using to make that video, right? All these
sure.
cool stuff costs money, and I'm sure Microsoft paid a pretty penny. So now Microsoft Teams will jump into a little bit of. So now, what do you do when you get Microsoft Teams? There's a couple of different ways to go when you're using Teams with devices. What you're going to see are some of the apps that you can use with some of the devices. And we're going to focus in on the professional devices, primarily Plantronics or Poly. Dave referred to them. We're going to Jabra and Sennheiser, which is now called EPOS. These are the ones that are geared really for that business professional that wants a office-like experience, that wants to bring good quality audio when they're on a call, when you're on a video, when you're on a chat or whatever. So one of the things that we wanted to do was put together some ABCs on what to do once you get a device, where to go on Teams to make sure that your device is connected, it's working, and you don't have any issues with that. So, Ori, let's queue up that quick video. All right, so let's go ahead and roll it, and so we can no, we have audio with this or no audio with this one? No audio, right? So we'll just talk over it, no problem. So when you get to Teams, go ahead, let it roll. You'll see that you'll want to go into the settings menu, and it's over up here on the right hand side. And once you go in there, Teams makes it super, super easy. Just click on the settings inside that sprocket there, and you're just going to go ahead and go right over where it says devices. And you're going to see, in this case, I have the Sennheiser SP30 speakerphone. It should be there. And pause it for a second, Ori. If you've got a Microsoft version, so let me just back up for one quick second. So Poly, Jabra, EPOS, all three make products that are either come in a Microsoft edition, let's call it that, and non-Microsoft edition. The Microsoft edition, all that is that the moment you plug it in into your USB or Bluetooth, the Microsoft Teams in this case will auto recognize the settings. So you literally don't have to do any work. It's plug and play. You'll never have any guessing to do. In addition to that, it comes with some features, and we're going to get into some of the features in a little bit, that allow you to do some extra things that you can't do on any other platforms. Dave, I'm sure Microsoft spends not only a lot of money on advertising, but they must spend a lot on their alliances, because all of these manufacturers, they've got them all locked up to make special products just for the Microsoft stuff.
They do, and I think it's important for customers to know that when you're buying one of these brands, that these are not knockoff brands. The Jabra, EPOS, the Poly brands, these are high-end commercial products, and their teams are affiliated and aligned with other technologies. So I think if you can say that you have a partnership and a handshake between Jabra, EPOS, Poly, and in this case Microsoft, that's a pretty big deal. And I think you'll be impressed by the products. And I'm sure Microsoft is very impressed with them as a brand in order to accept a relationship like this.
I can't agree even more. And so the other thing that we want to do now that we're here, you're plugged in, maybe and you're using Teams, you want to know, okay, what can these special Microsoft editions of these products do for you? So these products, let me see if I've got one. I've got somewhere on the table somewhere. Here we go. I've got one right over here. So I've got, this is the Jabra Speak 750. And it's not lit up, but when it's lit up, there's a button right in here that lights up with the Teams logo. And that Teams logo means that this button can give you notifications and several other things. Do we have a slide on, or we just do a discussion on it? Okay, so some of the things that the Teams edition can do for you that you won't get on other platforms and other devices. So you can respond to nudges. You can get notifications for when you have a voicemail. You can control the volume as well as the mute. Now that's important if you're going to be on calls throughout the day, especially if you're using your hands for other things. One thing I don't like, I don't know about you, Dave, but having to just on either websites or applications where you're just going back and forth clicking, my fingers get so tired at the end of the day.
Oh, yeah.
And these Microsoft Edition devices by Jabra, EPOS, and Poly make that task so much easier because they're integrated. So if you get a call on Teams, the device rings and you can answer straight away from here.
Yeah.
No need to reach for the mouse.
And it's what people are looking for. People were forced to move away from a desk phone. They're looking for that physical interface. They're looking for that button to push while they're on their computer, and now they're able to do that. They have their applications open. They're working on their computer, etc. You have a phone call coming in. People are used to reaching down. What's lighting up? What do I need to do? And with that integration, it just creates the just that tactical feel that people are looking for and that people are used to. It's a nice transition product to move away from the desk phones to something else.
Yeah, and if you're used to the desk phone, right, everything's really at your fingertips. There's no guessing.
Right.
And that's one of the things on the Teams/Microsoft edition of devices. You also get the ability to, and I had to write them down because they have so many features in there. You can juggle multiple calls. You can leave calls and meetings. You can activate held calls. And I know there's some presence, some features around presence when you were talking about that. And actually something new that one of the divisions within Jabra is come out with is an additional alliance with Microsoft on a new feature that they released called walkie-talkie. So if you're a retail store, if you're in the government sector, financial sector, or in a high noise environment, the walkie-talkie feature essentially turns your mobile phone, or desktop into a device that you can do push to talk. So if you're in that environment and you're looking for that, Microsoft has it. They build themselves as a secure platform, especially for business. And so what I was saying was that Blue Parrot has a couple of devices as well around this features that are certified for that. And we'll get to touch a little bit on certification because that tends to come up as well when we're talking to customers or people that contact us. They want to know, what's that mean? Can I use another device other than these devices? The answer is yes, but you will not get some of those features that are integrated, and you may not get some of the benchmark testing that's built into these devices. So you may not sound as good on a $20 headset that you got at your local retail store, or off of Amazon for that matter. And while we're on it, Dave, we forgot to mention before we move on to the next stuff that we do have some products featured today in our carousel. So if you're watching us on Amazon, some of the products that we're talking about, just holding up at one of them, those are all in the carousel ready for you to check out. You can get those, and Amazon will actually put it in your car. And now they have commercials. If you give them permission, they'll put it right in your garage if you have a garage. So take advantage of that if you're a Prime member. And that's all we'll say about that for right now.
Yes.
Dave, did I miss anything on the team stuff?
You know, I don't think so. You know, other headsets, are they certified? Not necessarily. Will they work? Maybe. But will it be the best experience for your business? Probably not.
Right. And again, if you are a person that is online, let's just say online, and you're online every day, Monday through Friday, it makes a world of difference going to the Microsoft edition of these devices. You'll be a happier person just for that. Okay, what we want to do now is show you the next level of what to do. So now let's just say you have a Poly device or Plantronics device. Most people know them. What do you do with that when you get it? There are there's a companion software called the Plantronics Hub. This Plantronics companion software allows you to essentially turbocharge your device and take it to the next level. Right, Dave?
Yeah, absolutely. And this is where you're going to make this device, you know, customized to how you, Rolando, want to use it. Fully customizable.
Right. And I love that about all of these manufacturers that have this. And this is what separates the three manufacturers that we work with from some of the others. And some lesser known brands, they may not have this customizable software to allow you to really take full advantage of what you can do with these devices. And a lot of folks don't know it. But in this case, with Teams, you have the Microsoft edition, you'll be plug and play. But these companion softwares are meant to also be used with other platforms, and we'll touch on that as we go through. So go ahead, Ori, roll this video on. We'll touch a little bit on this video. What we're going to do is, I'm being told this is a really long video. So we're just going to give you kind of the flavor of it. We're going to post the entire unedited version on how to use it, how to get all the juice out of these features that are jam-packed in here. But let's roll a little bit of it to give our audience a little bit of flavor for that. Go ahead, Ori.
We're going to show you how to use the Plantronics Hub app so that you can get the best usage out of a speakerphone or a headset when using it with your computer, with any other app that you're using for audio or streaming. In this case, I've got the Poly Sync 20, which used to be called Plantronics, but now they've shortened it and rebranded to Poly. So this is the Sync 20 model that does not include the Bluetooth dongle. As you can see, we have two options of connectivity. Right now, I've got it connected directly into the PC using the USB cable that's included with the Poly Sync 20. We can optionally go to the Bluetooth, but right now we'll just show the USB connection. what you get right out of the bat is the ability to go to overview and reference material as well as the user guide if you need that. But we're going to skip that because we don't read manuals. So let's go to settings and jump right into the good stuff. So we've got a bunch of settings here. The one that really gets the most questions is this rocket button. We'll go with that in a second. If you want the battery level to be indicated, that's on and off as you wish. You can get a notification using tone or voice. I like a voice, so it tells me I'm muted, or volume maximum, or volume minimum. Now the rocket button, you can assign the rocket button the type of thing you want it to launch or you want it to do. So in this case,
All right.
That's their newest product, right?
I've got it right here in my hand. This product right here. Well, there we go. Now, Poly, the rocket button. Let me see. Ooh, I'm playing. There we go.
There it is.
This right here is the rocket button on this. So this is a customizable button. What's interesting, Dave, is our logo, if you can look a little bit behind me, looks nearly identical to that one. I mean, kudos to them.
Yeah, interesting.
We couldn't have asked for a better deal on that, right? You know, that they put a rocket as part of the button. Boy, I'll take that any day. Right?
I think there's a theme to today's show. I've seen this in different places already.
Right. And so that rocket button can do, yeah, exactly. So the rocket button could do so many things. It could launch Siri, it could launch Google, it could pause, it could stop, it could end, just a number of things you could do with it. We'll have the whole unedited version of that available for you, and we'll post some links so that you can see that as well. All right, Dave, let's go to the next platform. Or did I miss something?
No, just enough information to lead people to it.
Okay, awesome. So now let's go to probably the platform that is, if you're not using Teams, you're probably using this one, and this is Zoom. Now Zoom, people were using Zoom before the COVID thing, but it literally rocketed up as soon as this happened, because that's what people kind of knew, especially if you were a non-business user and you never used the platform, or even if you were, maybe you were a business user and you kind of were on some Zoom calls here and there. So we're going to queue up a video. This is a 2-minute video. If you work in an office or were working in an office, you will totally, I fell back and fell off my chair watching this video from Zoom. So Ori, cue that up and let the folks watch that.
I just wanted to circle back on that Q3 forecast and try and land the plane from a KPI standpoint.
Look, Patrick, you want a win-win, but I'm burning the candle at both ends here.
Tell you what, let me easily put you on a quick hold and touch base with Darren using Zoom phone.
Hey, Patrick.
Hey, I want to pick your brain on the Q3 forecast from a standpoint perspective.
Going forward, I think it's clear from a macro standpoint. We gotta get granular and just hammer things out, you know? Put some chop in the water, go back and sharpen our pencils. Hope is not a strategy.
Copy that. So from a 30,000-foot standpoint, Darren is thinking we square the circle. Guess we're gonna have to loop someone in from sales.
Roger.
Sales, is Carl.
Carl, Patrick, Greg, Nancy, and I have the dry powder. Do you have the adequate tailwind to disrupt this space in a way that is actionable?
Gonna need to marinate on that. Can we put a pin in it?
It is what it is. Let's circle the wagon's EOD and see if we can't flip that over and get the North Star back in the sky. We need to do a level set.
Is Nancy in the dark? If so, you should ping her.
Roger that.
Copy that, Roger.
Roger that copy of my Roger.
Nancy's office.
Zane, we're getting some pushback on the circle back of our initial push. Is Nance available?
Let me transfer you on Zoom phone.
Tell me something good.
Nance! It's Patrick. The team wants to loop you in from a pushback standpoint. Going forward, do you have the bandwidth to discuss best practices moving the needle forward as
Yes, I do.
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
Well, from an unpacking standpoint, we may not have enough boots on the ground, so let's peel back the onion on this.
The elephant in the room is this paradigm shift, which is just basically mission critical, low hanging fruit with no value add. So, seal the deal, gather the troops, and let's aim for the win-win.
Copy.
Roger that copy.
Copy that Roger of my copy.
Roger that copy of my Roger of your copy.
Copy that Roger of my copy of your Roger of my copy. Over.
Oh, that is hilarious.
Is that a Saturday Night Live skit
It's
or what?
you know what? Whoever wrote that is genius. Like totally spot on. Obviously, it's exaggerating, but using all the puns, the bandwidth and unpacking and put a pin in it is so. If you work in an office, you probably I don't know. For me, I was laughing my you know what off when I saw this for the first time, and I was laughing watching the again. So Zoom, so that's one of the reasons why we showed this. So Zoom has a capability for phone. Most people know it as a conference and meeting. And since the COVID situation, they've added a lot of features. This is one of them, so that you can actually make communications rather than just meetings. So let's jump into the Zoom stuff. How to get the best juice out of Zoom. So now Zoom has a very robust capability when it comes to using headsets and speakerphones or other devices. And so we've got another this one's a really short video on what to do when you go ahead and connect your device. Go ahead, Ori, and roll that.
We're going to show you how to optimize the setting for Zoom so that you get the best quality audio when using a hands-free device, i.e. a business professional headset or speakerphone or studio microphone. So let's jump right into it. Once you open Zoom, you'll want to click on the settings sprocket. That'll bring up a menu. You want to go to audio and scroll to the bottom. And in the ringtones section, you'll find a button that says sync buttons on headset. You want to enable that. That'll allow your hands-free device, and we'll call hands-free device shorthand for a speakerphone or headset at the moment. So it will allow your headset or speakerphone to sync the buttons to the Zoom app, so that if you press the volume control buttons or the mute button, it will also do that inside of Zoom. So no need to fiddle around and click with your mouse. Another setting that is very helpful, especially if you have a high quality studio microphone or hands-free device that's also high quality, you have some settings up here that will allow you to enhance the audio. So one of the things you could do is enable this high fidelity. By default is turned off. You can enable it. Also recognize that when you do that, you're gonna chew up more CPU utilization. It'll consume more bandwidth. But if you have the network, you have the bandwidth, you have a computer that's newer and has the processing power for it, you can opt for that. This is something you can always throttle down if you find it's taking up too much network, you have limited bandwidth capability, or you tend to have an older computer. Another very helpful one is this one here, where it can allow you to show or it will show the original audio that is on that high quality microphone or high quality speakerphone or headset, so that you can pump that through the stream or Zoom as you're talking, rather than modified audio that Zoom will try to enhance. So that's pretty much all you have to do on Zoom to enable the enhanced audio features. One of the things you should note is that not all headsets and speakerphones support this integration. We will post a link to the supported headsets. Most of them are within the Plantronics, now called Poly, portfolio, the Jabra headsets and speakerphones, and the Sennheiser, now known as EPOS. These are geared towards professionals, and they will support Zoom, but you'll want to check the latest release and firmware updates that are available through their companion app.
Terrific. So one of the things I just want to point out is on that HD audio, it's also known as wideband audio. And so with wideband audio, you're going to get a richer sound. I think we touched on it in one of our previous segments. It's basically going from talking like this, like I'm sounding now, to a regular phone conversation that might sound a little more like this. So when you go like that, you're going to get a little bit better audio. But in order to do that, just like my hands space out, go further, that's the same thing that happens on a network. It will require more bandwidth. But I got to tell you, Dave, when I'm using, we have on my phone and devices, I'm set up for HD audio, and it makes a huge difference when you have that turned on.
Yeah, it does. You know, you're explaining it. It's a little bit wider of a frequency range, so it does sound different to the human ear. You know, it's funny when you do your demo and you put your hands like this, it does sound like you are changing that to a narrow band. But narrow band can sometimes sound just as loud or louder, but definitely the wideband, that HD audio, you can certainly tell the difference night and day.
On the receive side, now something really important to note about wideband, if Dave and I wanted to talk to each other and he's on his mobile phone and I'm calling him from within, let's say, the Zoom phone app or the Teams app, and I'm using wideband, we're not going to get wideband on each side because both participants need to be connected on an IP network. So if you're both of us are on Zoom, both of us are on Teams or some other app that uses the internet for communications, and we both have wideband enabled, we're going to get wideband audio. And you both enjoy the rich conversation of using that. So that you may not know that, but turn that on, give that a try. That will help your meetings sound a lot better. Another important thing to note about integration. So the folks at Poly, also known as Plantronics, they don't have this integration supported on the Mac. And so this is one of those things that when you're talking about integration of, and the buttons now, these are the buttons that end and start the call and all that other stuff, or the Poly folks yet, as of this taping on February 5th, don't have that integration there. So, and Ori, do we have the link over to the Plantronics page? Go ahead and flash that up. Okay. Okay, so the Zoom client, this is on Poly's own page. It just tells you that Zoom, the Zoom Mac version, it's not supported for the call control. And something important to note is that when you are using the, let's say I'm using the speakerphone, and it comes with those buttons to end and start the call, you cannot end the call through the device per Zoom. Zoom doesn't want you to essentially accidentally terminate a call from the device, so that's something that's not supported. You know, it's I'm not sure about the Zoom phone side of things, but on the Zoom meeting side of things, you cannot do that. And for the purposes of this video and this segment, we're strictly focusing on the PC side of things. There's a whole nother set of rules if we were talking on the mobile phone, because they don't operate the same way and the implementation is slightly different. Dave, did you want to add anything on that?
Nope, I think you have it all condensed very well right there.
All right, so we want to show you now. So let's say you're using EPOS. We were showing you the Jabra. We're just going to show you a little flavor on the EPOS side. So go ahead and put the EPOS. This is the companion app that you would use as well with the with Zoom or with any of the other apps that we're talking about today. Go ahead, Ori, roll that. Okay, gotcha. So on the Zoom app, this is the EPOS. So on the EPOS, it will show you this is a companion app that we're showing you. It shows you the device that's connected to it, so you can do the customization. You can go ahead and let it keep rolling. You can do some customization. You can set it in different modes. You can, in this case, what you're seeing, it needs to be updated. So this is really one of the big reasons I love these companion apps. Let's say you buy this device today. As in a month, even in a month, there may be some new feature that Zoom or that Teams releases, and you're not able to take advantage of that until you make that update into that device. And so these manufacturers, EPOS, Poly, and Jabra, all have the software, and it costs you nothing to get those updates. So it's a free upgrade for your device. So I'll take the upgrade. And in some cases, there's some glitches, and all the device manufacturers may run into glitches because of some changes on a platform or a Mac version or a Windows version. These companion softwares will let you know you should make that update, and we'll fix that situation. Right, Dave?
Yeah, and you know, what's really impressive about all of these brands that we're promoting today is that buyers can feel comfortable knowing that the engineers for these products are working behind the scenes after they're launched, after they're released, to make them better. So yes, you've paid a fair amount of money for a commercial solution, but feel confident that these products will continue to get better down the road.
Absolutely.
And it's right there at your fingertips for getting the upgrades.
Right. And so that happens. Know that you may have a device today. Let's say it's not one of these manufacturers. And like, you know, what's happening here with Teams, they're going to switch everybody over from Skype to Teams by the end of July. And that's it. Skype's done. So if you don't have a Teams enabled device, you may not be able to continue using that device. With I know for a fact on the Jabra side, they just upgraded some of their existing devices, particularly on the Evolve series, so that you could continue using those devices if you're migrating from Skype to Teams. And stay tuned. We're in February. That's supposed to happen in July, and more to come on that. And we've extended an invitation to Microsoft to come and explain a little bit of that on our air. So stay tuned for that. All right, let's roll through over to the next platform. All right, so we're gonna show you a little RingCentral action, and let them speak for themselves, and we'll talk on the other side of this video. So that's RingCentral. They're one of the larger players when it comes to UC communications. I would say Teams, Zoom, RingCentral. You can throw in Avaya on the enterprise side as well. Cisco. They're one of the larger players that some folks may have heard of and some that may have not. And because they are in the top 10 of providers of VoIP service, we wanted to talk about it because it's going to be relevant to those folks that are using it or maybe looking for a platform. So Dave, one of the things that, and you know, we use RingCentral, just a little plug in for them. We use them, we like them, they're good to us. It's a good platform to use. One of the things I really like about using RingCentral is their ability to integrate with many devices. Right. Zoom has some quirkiness there where you can't use it on the Mac for the integration. RingCentral does allow you to have an integration when it comes to the Poly, when it comes to Jabra. They both have integrations, but something you need to know that's really important about RingCentral. So if you're looking to use RingCentral or already are using RingCentral, you need to know that on the PC side, when you have the app open, you also need to have the Poly or the Jabra app or the companion app installed on your PC. If you don't have that, you won't get the integration. This is just something that's just the way RingCentral rolls. And I just want to highlight that with the next video here on the how-to with the RingCentral and how to get your device working on that. Go for it, Ori.
Optimize the audio for RingCentral when using a headset or a speakerphone. You'll want to go and open your RingCentral app. You'll also want to click on Settings. You'll go right to where it says Notifications and Sounds. Scroll to the bottom, and you're going to see an area called Headset Support. In Headset Support, you will notice that, and right now we've got in this case, a speakerphone. It's called the Poly Sync 20. It's showing that it is connected and active. When you have a Plantronics, or now Poly, that is called, that device should also have running or installed the Plantronics Hub, which is the companion app. And as you can see down below, I do not have the Jabra companion app downloaded. Within RingCentral, you need both of those, both the devices manufacturer recommended companion app along with the RingCentral app in order for the integrated call controls to work. Without downloading both, you will not get the integrated call controls. So in this case, the RingCentral app is telling me that I have the Plantronics Hub companion app already installed, and I have a device that is connected and it is recognizing. So from this point on, I'm ready to go. No additional work needs to be done. On the other hand, if I had a Jabra device, I would still need to download it, as the RingCentral app is indicating download the app. So we will go ahead and download the app. Now that you've downloaded the Jabra Direct companion app to your PC, you'll notice that the RingCentral software automatically knows that Jabra has been downloaded. So now the Jabra Direct companion app is running in the background. And you see that now the Jabra Speak 750 is connected. It's showing me the green light, and we're ready to rock and roll. Furthermore, if you want to take a look at the different settings for your audio sources and you want to choose those, you can also find the connected devices here. In this case, it'd be the Jabra 750. And I've got those selected as my audio source. And I'm ready to roll with using the audio buttons on the, in this case, the Speak 750, which is a speakerphone, as my default audio controls for Zoom, for volume up, volume down, as well as the mute button.
Yeah, that's really nice. You know, what I really like about that RingCentral app there is it's bringing the user, if the user doesn't have that companion software for Poly or for Jabra, that RingCentral is giving you a link so that you can go and then you can go and get it. One thing I do want to quickly point out, Rolando, so EPOS was not on that list. We spoke with them, and they're looking to have this this certified and what's the word? The call control capabilities integrated by the end of the year.
Okay, there you go. So there, if you're an EPOS fan or love their products, stay tuned for more on EPOS and their integration with RingCentral.
Yep.
All right, so let's jump right into the last platform that we want to talk about today, which is Google. Google is real big in the education. They've been very strong. Obviously, people know who they are on the consumer side, but on the collaboration piece, on the Meet and some of the Google Suite applications, more folks since the COVID crisis have come to know a little bit more about them. So let's go ahead and roll. If you don't know what they have, let's go ahead and roll that video.
We're good. I think that about wraps it up. So
Great. I'll send a follow-up email.
there's nothing much to follow up on, so
Well, we should regroup.
we just regrouped. This is the regrouping.
Cool, I'll ping you later.
You're pinging me now. What do you want to ping about?
Next steps?
There are no next steps. We just solved it.
All right.
Hey, Dave, I want to ping you right now about something that we want to talk about, or actually later off the air. Make sure you have enough bandwidth to get it done, all right?
Yep. We'll circle back on that
We'll circle
one.
back. Make sure you stick a good pin in it, all right? So you don't forget.
The cliches of the day. Wow. Raining cliche.
I know, man. But it's the kind of language, if you work with other people, and I don't know what it's like in other countries. You know, I'm sure they have their puns, but it's the stuff that people tend to just recycle and reuse all the time when we're talking, and put a pin, let's circle back, and bandwidth and all that other stuff. I don't know, maybe we got to come up with some new terms to have business speak. Right?
We do, or it just becomes a drinking game. It's like you have to drink every time so and so says spearheading or something. Anyway,
right. So what we want to point out about this is that on the Google side, Orion, go ahead and queue up the landing page for them, if you could. Yeah. So they've got some cute and cuddly, and then some other stuff that they do, and it's really wonderful. It's really easy to use. That's one of those advantages. So if you're shopping around and you're looking for a simple platform, it's really simple, really easy to use. Plug for Google Meet on that. All right. So, but let's talk devices now. People want to know how to sound better, right? So what Google has done is they've also reached out to the big players to see if they can essentially optimize the audio experience for their users. And Ori, go ahead and throw up the Google page with the tested products. Perfect. So Google has a certification process for testing different devices. Now, all of these manufacturers make many, 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 many more of the headsets and speakerphones and devices that are listed. But these are the ones that have gone through Google's own testing. They've benchmarked it. They're making sure that you're going to get good quality audio when you're talking, engaging, and having conference calls or videos and chats and so forth. So you see Bose on there. You see EPOS-Sennheiser on there. So they've got a lineup. You have Jabra as well. They're also on this page. Logitech, and you've got Poly, which is known as Plantronics. All of these devices have been benchmarked and tested for, and Yealink, which is they're really an up and coming player, Dave. Yealink is making a lot of noise with some of their more affordable USB headsets as well as their speakerphones.
Yeah, it's good to see them on there. It'll be interesting to see what other solutions they bring to the market.
Yeah, I know they've got a new one. We haven't had a chance to get our hands on it, but it's a two wireless solutions. It's not on the Google certification. I've seen a little preview of it, and it looks spectacular. They really are trying to disrupt the market here between the big three guys, and you can see they've benchmarked their stuff and tested at Google. So they've only got one product, but I suspect that's not going to be the only one for them. So anything else we want to add there on Google? Dave, go ahead.
I don't have anything else to add. What were you going to? I think I almost interrupted you.
No. I was just gonna say we were trying to get some clarification on Google. So all of the devices that you see on Google are certified, but let's add a little asterisk and let's stick a pin on it, Dave, because we need to really circle back and tell the users what's missing from all of that information. And what's missing is that none of these devices have integrated call controls, and that's really important. As of today's February 5th, none of them have integrated call controls. Google is not known like the other three that we featured for phone features and that kind of thing. They do have Google Voice. It's lesser known when we look at the other players. And I suspect, now this is just me speculating, that if they have something, it's not there and ready to be used in that way. But from what when we reached out to some of the manufacturers, they all told us the same thing, that as soon as their platform is available to make that integration, they will be doing that. Is that the way I understand it, Dave?
Yeah. It's probably just a matter of resources. You need to start somewhere. And Google's probably next on the list. And again, with all the software that people now have, it's protecting their investment, and they can upgrade it when it becomes available.
Right. So as of today, the integration function is not available for headsets or speakerphones. And stay tuned. I'm sure that won't remain that way forever, but Google is doing what they can in order to get there. So we wanted to let you know about that. So that's important to know. Okay, I think that we covered all of the platforms. And I do want to remind you is that every one of these devices has their own website, and they have more details. EPOS, formerly known as Sennheiser, Poly, and Jabra, all of them have websites with more details on compatibility, on the features that are available, on what is integrated, which platforms they support from an integration perspective. And I invite you to do that. And we can also post that on as well on our end, so that you can go straight away and you can go see those platforms. Dave, did I miss anything on that, or did I cover it pretty well?
That was a great summary. It was a great episode today, Rolando. Yeah, and all of the videos that we showed, we will have the extended lengths of those demos all available on YouTube. Make sure that you like and subscribe and
hit all the bells and the whistles.
The bells and the whistles.
Right. And I think on YouTube, I just found out is that, you want to hit that get notified. So what we'll do is you'll push out a notification to you so that you can get information on great content like this.
So, Rolando, we want to wrap it up with the trivia question.
All right. So let's see. I'm dying to know what is the common thread here?
You know, this is pretty interesting. Not many brands can say what these two brands have done or what they've accomplished. So we'll go back to it. What does Plantronics, now known as Poly, and Rolex have in common? So not only are they two phenomenal brands of premium products, but both of these brands, Ori, why don't you reveal the answer? Both of these were part of the Apollo program. They both landed on the moon. Here we have a picture of our friend Buzz, and he's wearing a Plantronics headset. He's showing off his Rolex watch. I'll tell you, as silly as it is, it was important that they had a great headset out here. It was important that they had a timepiece that will work in space. Apparently, not all watches will work in space. I don't exactly know why.
What?
I'm not that smart, but it was something.
What is that about?
That I had learned. It has something to do with the movements of the watch and anti-gravity. That's all I know.
So you need an expensive watch to work in 0 G's or gravity. Well, they didn't have the digital watches back then.
And they probably didn't have the digital watches. And you know what's crazy is some of these accompanying apps that we were looking at today from EPOS, Jabra, and Poly. These apps are probably so powerful that they probably could have controlled the Apollo spacecraft.
Oh yeah, there's more, but there's more computer power in an iPhone and an Android today than they had in one of those big mainframe rooms.
Yeah. So a little bit of trivia there. I'm glad that everyone that joined us today joined us. Thank you very much for watching, Rolando. It was great to see you.
Yeah, and before we go, I'm getting ready for the big game here, right? So I've got my helmet from back in the day. I'm ready. I'm locked and loaded. Who you picking for the game?
Tampa Bay, baby.
Bucks and Brady. All right, Professor. And before we go, you know what? I'm rooting for Brady. He's the old guy. He's not really old, but he's the older guy. I want to see him do well. So Brady, do well on the game this weekend. One of the big changes that we're going to be doing here, because we want to bring this show to as many folks as we can, we're going to move from a Friday. We still love Fridays.
Fridays.
And we're going to go to what day? What day are we going to, Dave?
It's Tuesdays.
Tuesdays. That's right. So the next two shows, we have one more on Friday. And we're bringing in a special guest, Todd Miller from Nitel. He's going to break it down on work from home, bandwidth, and why things slow down, and what to do, and how to do it better. And then we're got a really cool to open up our new time slot on Tuesday. We're going to do a product feature on the PolySync. You got a little bit of a preview. I showed it to you. We're going to put it through the ringer like some of our other previous tests and see if it actually is going to work after we give it some really interesting tests on that day. So, Dave, thank you. I would say pass me the ball.
Hut, hut. Nerd alert.
There you go. So, thank you everybody for joining us today, and we'll see you the next time.